is next Friday, so I think it'd be a good time to think about what we've done. And it seems like we've done two topics. We have done commercial paper. And within commercial paper, I would divide it into the following categories. Definition, negotiability, what is negotiable, what is a commercial paper, what makes it negotiable, endorsements. And then you remember we talked about the various types of endorsements, special, blank, etc. Order versus bearer paper. Then we talked about the concept of a holder in due course. In Covey, the advantage of being a holder in due course is that would defeat personal defenses, which leads us to the next topic, a personal defense. And a real defense. So those are the first topic, commercial paper and the subdivisions thereof. And then, Alex, then we started talking about debtor-creditor law, which is what we're doing now. And under debtor-creditor, we talked about the rights of creditors. Last time we talked about being a surety and being a guarantor. How to become one, what your rights and obligations are. Today we'll talk about secure transactions. So Candace, what is a secure transaction? It's a transaction that's secured by what?
By like a bank.
Well, okay, but what gives it security?
It's collateral.
Collateral. And we basically are going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about the concept of attachment. And also the concept of perfection. And Kelsey, I don't like either one of those terms because I think neither one of those terms are a good description of what it is. I think negotiable paper is a good term because it's negotiable, it's transferable from one person to the other. Attachment means, Candace, that you create the interest. So you're the creditor, and so therefore you take an interest in the property. That's attachment. But Sydney, simply to have an interest in the property is of no value to you, is of limited value to you, unless you can also give notice to others that you have it. And that is what perfection is. Perfection, Sydney, is giving notice to others that you have the security interest. Sydney, why do you want to give notice to others?
So that you'll have the right.
Or the priority?
Priority, yes.
Ah, okay. And then the next thing we'll talk about is for priority. And Sydney, somebody who gets into financial trouble may have used the same asset, may have pledged the same asset to more than one creditor. And then when everything goes bad, the question is, who wins among the creditors? And then if everything goes bad, the topic that we'll pick up on Wednesday is bankruptcy. That's where everything goes wrong. And within bankruptcy, we'll do chapter 7. These are chapters of the bankruptcy code. Chapter 13, chapter 11, and chapter 13. There's also a chapter 12, which deals with the bankruptcy of farmers, but it's not covered on the CPA exam, so we won't talk about it. Sorry, Katie. So here's what I would do, Katie. I would sit down today, and I would. So when's the leadership meet? When is that? Tomorrow, okay. Tomorrow I would sit down in leadership when you're bored, and I would sit down and do a study schedule. Because you got from now until next Friday to master each of these topics. So what I would do, Candace, is I would say, on Tuesday I will master this topic. On Wednesday I will master this topic. On Thursday I'll master this topic. And your goal, Greg, is to look at it and get to the point where you'll never ever have to look at it again. Does that make sense, Brandon? Your goal is to get to the point of, for example, today's topic, attachment versus perfection, to get to the point. In fact, one of the things you might want to do, Brandon, is to find a friend, a really, 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 really good friend, and sit down with that friend and say, I want to talk to you about secure transactions. And have that friend listen to you. It has to be a really, really good friend, because why else would they do it? And here's the thing, Taylor, if you can explain it to somebody else, that's good evidence that you understand it yourself. Does that make sense? And I think the first day of class, Kelsey, didn't we make a commitment? Everybody in the room made a commitment that we would do something in every class every day, Megan, to avoid what happened to many of the graduate students last semester when COVID, first couple of weeks, nothing really happened. And you said, well, graduate school's not so bad. And then there was an emergency. The emergency could have been in a tax class, or it could have been in Financial 3, or it could have been in auditing, or it could have been in managerial, and then Cindy, not you, but others dropped everything they were doing to deal with the crises, and we want to avoid the crisis. So Talini, here are the topics. Tomorrow in leadership, when you're bored, you can make up a study budget, and your goal, Brandon, is to stay with it until you never have to look at it again. Also, remember, Kelsey, the big event is not what we're going to do next Friday, nor is it what we're going to do for the following exam. The big event is when you take the CPA exam, and you want Candace to get it to the point where when it's time to prepare for the CPA exam, you already know this stuff. That makes sense? So that's my pitch for today. Now, David, let me turn on the projector. It says turn on, David, and then it says input, then it says console, then it says a projector failure occurred in processing this command. So just say OK, and then it will magically appear, slowly magically appear. So let's look at the CPA questions for today. Question number 1.